Well, hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to the Newsroom. This fun little thing we do sometimes through the week, sometimes on Mondays, sometimes on Tuesdays, sometimes, I don't know, anytime there's news, we might get together and talk about it. So, anyway, welcome in to our pre Easter weekend version of the Newsroom. Glad to have you all here. My name is Brian Trippett. I am known as the Front Porch Conservative. Sometimes I am called the chap in the cap. On occasion, I'm called the fine fella in the fedora. Sometimes I'm known as the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, above all else, I am your host. We are on Rumble, we are on X, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, if you do not care, and I would really appreciate it if you did, please subscribe to my channel if you're not currently subscribed. Anyway, subscribed? I don't know. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Subscribe to my channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up this evening and leave a comment on this live stream. It really does help push us out into the algorithm. Yes, I am alive. I am very much alive. Thank you very much. It's good to be alive. It's good to be on this side of the dirt, as it were. So yes, good evening to you, Robert Lowry, and a big old fist bump to you, my brother. So yes, do all that. Share the link with your friends. Hit the bell for notifications. All right, let's see who all is in the house so far. We've got Miss Gypsy is here tonight. Mwah. Happy Easter to you, my dear. Robert Lowry, as we've said, is in the house. We know that TBA is here, always ready to give his opinions on all things. And also the legendary WWG1 is here among us. So good to have you here, sir. Yeah, we've got a fairly fun evening planned. Lots of humor, a few serious topics. And, going into the Easter weekend, I figured, well, look, if we're going to do a live stream, better to do it this evening. Oh, good evening, Miss Pate. Mwah. Hello, my dad. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, that's part of what we were thinking about. Going into the Easter weekend, it's going to be kind of tough. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to do a Saturday morning live stream. I want to hear this. Oh, I definitely want to hear this, but hold on to that, brother. We're going to get to this story. We're talking about that topic tonight. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I figured, you know what? People are going to be traveling. And if they're not traveling, they may be receiving family members at their home. Maybe it would be better for all of us if we do a live stream, the Thursday before Easter weekend. That way, we can get together, talk about some of what's going on in the world and, not interfere too badly with your Easter weekend plans. So that's why we're doing this on a Thursday night as opposed to Saturday morning. So, yeah, by all means, we're going to talk about all kinds of different subjects tonight. So settle in. Regardless of whether you're out there on YouTube, whether you're out there on Rumble, or whether you're out there on X. And you folks out there on X, as always, you have a standing invitation. Drop a comment. Tell us who you are. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking. So by all means, let's hear from you out there. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. We promise we're friendly folk. We're not going to let TBA bite you. Yes. I've already bought the eggs. They're in the fridge. I bought 5 dozen for all the trays that I've got to make this weekend. So yeah, there's going to be deviled eggs, sir. By the way, which, I mean, I should have realized this anyway. For those of you that are health conscious, do you realize that deviled eggs are a great source of protein? If you're trying to cut out carbs, but you need something to fill you up, but you also want something healthy. I found a Facebook short today by a person who's into, fitness and weightlifting and bodybuilding and all that stuff. And they made the statement. Yeah. They fix deviled eggs all the time. Great source of protein. I thought, you know what? I should have realized that. So yeah, we're going to have deviled eggs this weekend, among many other things. I'm hosting dinner. And by the way, if you're hosting dinner at your home, drop an F in chat. Let's see. Or if you're traveling somewhere for Easter dinner, drop a drop a U in chat. So if you're hosting, drop an F. If you're traveling somewhere, drop a U. So, we'll see some FUs in the chat. Oh, wait a minute. I did not mean it like that. Never mind. Yeah, that you can see that joke coming a mile away. Anyhow, yeah, we're glad to have you all here this evening. And good evening, Ms. Lana. Good to see you, my dear. Looking as lovely as always. Yeah, we're gonna have a fun live stream tonight. And let's see. WWG1, I'm having Easter dinner at Brian's house. He just doesn't know it yet. Well, I'm so glad you told me in advance. I'm so glad you told me, sir. Let's see. Robert says, what time is dinner? I'm in the extent 4 o'clock Sunday. 4 o'clock Sunday. And my family are old country people. We believe in making more food than we need, because you just never know who's going to show up. So, oh my goodness. Wait a minute. How did you get invited? How did you get invited? Oh, for heaven's sake, this is getting out of control. Anyway, let's have some fun tonight. Let's talk about some issues. Now, wait a minute. Now, hold on now. I didn't know you're going to bribe me. Now, if you're going to bribe me, that's a whole different subject here. Now, hang on now. If they're bringing food, well, that's a whole different subject now. Well, now wait a minute. Well, what invitation? I didn't issue an invitation. WWG1 just said he's going to show up at my place, and then you chimed in on. I didn't issue an invitation. Thank you. Although, at some point I've got to have you scoundrels over. Who knows? It's potluck Easter dinner, don't you know? Well, okay. Oh, for heaven's sake. All right, off of this. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate. Look what you did. Anyway, let's have some fun tonight. Let's get into some serious topics. Let's enjoy ourselves. And I don't know how long we're going to go tonight, but there was no mass email. There was no mass email. I don't know what this is. So no, this is fake news. Now we're getting into the realm of the fakery here. There was no mass email. Good grief. For heaven's sake. Now we see the culprit. Now we see the culprit in this. This is a scheme cooked up by WWG1. Now I see where we're going here. Oh my God. There's a reason why I refer to them as the wingnuts, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason why I refer to them as the wingnuts. You never know what this bunch over on Rumble is going to do. Anyway. All right, let's get down to business. By the by, you guys do know that today is the anniversary of one of the greatest events in the history of the internet, right? Truly, it is one of the great anniversary dates in internet history. For those of you who do not know what I am referring to, about 5 years ago, there was a hearing that was done among lawyers over the internet. And this was back, COVID, that sort of thing. Courthouses around the country were taking on extra precautions because, the coof. And what went down in this hearing among these lawyers and a judge is probably one of the best moments in the history of the internet. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, let me give you about 30 seconds of something that should refresh your memory. With that, I hope you enjoy.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care who you are and what your political persuasions are. If you don't find that funny, there's just something wrong with you. Now, in case you don't have this one among your collection, I'm going to drop this in chat. There it goes on the Rumble side, and here it comes on the YouTube side. So, you might want to save that in your favorites because that's just too daggone funny. Too daggone funny. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't prosecute. No, I wouldn't at all. That'd be terrible. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I gotta thank Gypsy for dropping that one in because that's just too daggone funny. Too daggone funny. Now, on a more serious note, have you guys heard about this rocket launch that happened yesterday evening, the Artemis II rocket? Now, like everybody, you hear enough stuff and it starts becoming white noise, but I should have been paying more attention to this. We are sending a manned mission to the moon. The Artemis II rocket is launching a crew into outer space to, as I understand it, and for those of you that are keeping closer tabs on this than I am, drop some info in the chat. As I understand it, they are doing an orbital mission of the moon, and then they are returning. I think it's like 400,000 kilometers plus. Yeah, I mean, this is just amazing. So, yeah, I think do I have the... Okay, so they are circling. All right, they are circling the moon, but they are not landing. Okay, now, again, WWG1 or anybody else who's more up on this topic than I am. Now, is this the first mission that we're going to orbit? We're going to do some missions where we orbit the moon, then we're going to land a crew on the moon and start dropping off supplies to build a colony. I mean, where are we going with this? I'm curious. So it's a 10-day mission. Okay, that sounds about right. But yeah, I mean, this is amazing. Truly is amazing. For the first time since the 70s, we are sending a manned mission to the moon. Not landing on the moon, but we're going back to the moon. This is cool. I'm genuinely serious about this. This is cool. Okay, so yeah, that's their plan. They're going to do a few missions like the current one they're on, orbiting the moon. Then they're going to put a manned mission landing on the moon with the hope that we're going to start a colony up there. Oh, cool. That's just awesome. That's just awesome. Good evening, Salty, you old son of a gun. How you doing out there? Glad to have you amongst us. Good to see you. I see you've dropped a link. What have you done, you madman? Hang on a minute. I got to take a look at this. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we even have a picture of the Artemis rocket going up into space. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not, but this is really cool. Let me see if I can. Yeah, Salty was gracious enough to send this to us. So if you have not seen this yet, this is a picture of the Artemis II rocket as it was taking off. This is that's really kind of amazing. Although I must say the capsule at the top of that rocket, I don't know. That's a pretty unusual design, frankly. I don't know about that, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool picture of the Artemis II rocket, and I gotta thank Salty for providing that one. So much thanks, my friend. Much thanks. Oh yes, take that bow, brother. Take that bow. Let's see. We've never slingshotted around the far side of the moon. Please, someone correct me where I am wrong. Maybe we have. I don't know. I mean, there are people that are way, way better. So you're saying the head is on the wrong end of that? Well, could be. So yeah, we're sending a manned mission back to the moon. That is pretty cool by any standard. I think that's amazing. Genuinely amazing. Now, of course, I mean, let's be honest, it's been what, 50 plus years since we've done this sort of thing. You kind of got to figure that that there are going to be problems. Hopefully nothing serious, no Apollo 13 style problems, obviously, but but you figure there's going to be problems. Well, apparently, and I don't know how they're going to work this out. There are problems with the plumbing inside the manned capsule. Heard about this today. I don't know what caused it. I think the engineers at NASA and and SpaceX or whoever's involved with this thing, they're working on it right now. But contingencies have already been built in to take care of this. Now they're not ready to launch this particular contingency yet, but they may have to. So if you see Marco Rubio going up in another rocket to go go parallel with the Artemis 2, don't worry, he's got it under control. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to. Well, now wait a minute. I don't know if they ate too much cheese. Look, all I know is I heard about the problem today, but I don't know what may be causing it. Well, yeah, that generally speaking, that's what's happened. Someone has clogged the shiter. And it's not good. Not a good situation. Especially you're on a 10-day mission, man. That thing's got to be working right. Okay. You have got to have a toilet system in your capsule that is working correctly. You're on a 10-day mission. It's not like you can pull over at the rest stop. Okay. Honey, I gotta go. One of the kids has to go. Well, pull over that asteroid over there and we'll see if we can make this thing a quick pit stop. No, there's none of that. Okay. If you got problems with Uranus, you're stuck with it for the next 10 days. Okay. What again? I don't know if this is what caused it or not. I mean, good grief. Yeah, for heaven's sake. I don't know. Anyway, but yes, contingency plans. But again, how are you going to do that in outer space? There's no air out there. I don't know. But, like I said, NASA's got a solution to this thing. Marco Rubio is ready to go. And, well, now this is true too. This is so true, my friends. So true. Well, Gypsy, I'm like you. I hope that the Artemis 2 mission does not turn into the Gerald Ford of outer space, but stranger things have happened, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. Well, if you can't open the window, I mean, I guess you're gonna free breeze. Now here's my question: is each astronaut suit equipped with a Febreze squirt can? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know. So anyway, hopefully they'll get all that straightened out. You're going old school with that reference. You are going so old school with that reference, Robert, but you have come to the right place. I know exactly what you're referring to, my friend. That is funny as all get out. Oh my gosh. I love it. Oh, well, now wait a minute. Now look, let's be positive here. Just because somebody else has a problem with their toilet does not necessarily mean that you're going to have a problem with yours, WWG1. I mean, let's keep it positive here. We're going to, things should flow the way they're supposed to. I wouldn't worry about it. You're going to the Easter weekend. Surely the Almighty would not, decide to bring you such a horrible fate going into such a sacred weekend. I'm just saying, Anyway, and by the by, apparently they've got some minor computer troubles on the Artemis 2 rocket. Well, look, if you're going to be using my toilet, I hope you bring a Sears and Roebuck's catalog, because let me tell you something. That outhouse doesn't necessarily stay equipped the way it should. That's all I'm saying. So bring your own Sears and Roebuck's catalog, my friend. Anyway. Well, that's probably a good piece of advice if he's going to come over and use my outhouse. That's all I'm saying. Well, now, funny you should mention that, TBA, because yes, they do have computer problems, and here's why. Apparently, they equipped the Artemis with Microsoft 365, so you begin to understand why it is that that the folks up there at Mission Control and up there in the Artemis rocket, they're getting a little bit concerned right now. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. And I'd be asking Bill Gates for a refund. Don't you know? Anyway, what else do we have in the way of the merry memes tonight? Yes. Now, and we're about to get into our first topic of the night. So if you're hanging out there going, for the love of God, can we start talking about the issues? Just hang on. We will. And our first topic is going to be the dismissal of Pam Bondi as Attorney General of the United States. But before we get to that, I think we should take a moment and celebrate one of the more productive members of Donald Trump's cabinet. Maybe productive is not the right word. I'm trying to think of the word or phrase that describes Marco Rubio. He's very team oriented. By that, I mean, look, if there's a vacancy or a job that's got to get done or something that needs to happen, to his credit, okay, Marco Rubio steps up and volunteers to do a lot of different jobs in the federal government. I mean, he's the Secretary of State. He's the acting National Security Advisor. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And now that there's an opening in Attorney General, apparently, and he is a lawyer, by the way. He is a lawyer. Apparently, Marco Rubio is ready to step up and try and help out there. As a matter of fact, he was seen around the offices of the Secretary of State today, trying out different things for the possibility that he may have to serve as acting Attorney General or maybe permanent Attorney General if Trump, puts the nod on him. I mean, that's 3 different jobs in the cabinet. But you know what? Marco's readiness to become Attorney General, then yeah, I think we're going to be okay, folks. I think we're going to be okay. I mean, he handles the shoulder pads of the job very well. Very well indeed. So there you go. He jumping for joy. Matter of fact, Gypsy, it's funny you say that because well, hang on. Let me see if I can find this real fast. Give me 1 second here. As if you're wondering what Gypsy's referring to, constitutional attorney and litigator Robert Barnes has never been a fan of Pam Bondi. And if I can find hang on. Oh, where is that? Where is it? Hang on. I think I can get my hands on this. I'm pretty sure. I think I've almost got it. Hang on. No, not going to be able to find it as fast as I thought I was going to. But anyway, no, he dropped a post on X today and said, old saying from the Civil War, if you stand by the river long enough, you'll see the dead body of your enemy float by. And he said, ta-ta, goodbye, Pamela. And I went, whoo, that's pretty cold-blooded. But you get, like I say, you get how he feels about this. So, yeah, she's out the door. She is out the door. So anyway, all right. So let's get into it. I mean, we've teased it. We've set it up. Sometime this afternoon, and I've got to look for the exact moment, Donald Trump took to Truth Social, as he is a wont to do, and made a announcement, a big one in this case, something that a lot of people had sort of suspected was coming, but they just didn't know the when. Well, apparently Trump is in a house cleaning mood. First it was Kristi Noem, and now it is his current attorney general. From Truth Social, Pam Bondi is a great American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my attorney general over the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across our country, with murders plummeting to their lowest level since 1900. We love Pam, and she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector, to be announced at a date in the very near future. And our Deputy Attorney General and a very talented and respected legal mind, Todd Blanche, will step in to serve as acting Attorney General. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Well, yeah, that is true. That's true. And we'll get to that momentarily. Now, that's the post on Truth Social. As far as what went down, how it went down, and the why, I've got an article here from the UK Daily Mail, which, by the way, for those of you who are new here for the very first time, maybe you're hanging out on X or wherever, you will find that I will reference a lot of newspapers outside the United States. And there's a reason why I do that. As far as I'm concerned, the quality of the journalism is better. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the press overseas cannot have their own biases and what have you. But as far as their willingness to look at things in a broader context and their willingness to actually report the facts, overseas papers can give you more information a lot of times than what you'll get out of newspapers here in the United States. So a lot of times you'll see me, refer to the UK Guardian, the UK Daily Mail, the UK Independent, sometimes newspapers out of France or even Italy. So, and the occasional Der Spiegel article will come up every now and then. But we got an article here from the UK Daily Mail. Headline: Pam Bondi begged Trump not to fire her during dramatic White House showdown as insider reveals his final straw. Article by Phil Nieto and Sean Cohen and Charlie Spearing, which, by the way, if there's any reporter that you want to follow who works for a foreign newspaper, follow Charlie Spearing. Great writer. He used to be at Breitbart, then he left there and went to work for the American desk for the UK Daily Mail. But Charlie Spearing is a great journalist. Anyway, those three gentlemen report the following. Dateline, Washington, D.C. Attorney General Pam Bondi begged Donald Trump not to fire her in an explosive showdown at the White House after he accused her of an unforgivable offense. Trump fired Bondi on Thursday, the second cabinet member casualty in less than a month, after months of controversy, including the botched handling of the Epstein files. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche will serve as acting Attorney General until a permanent nominee is picked. Trump informed her of the decision shortly before his primetime Iran war address to the nation, a senior administration source told the Daily Mail. Bondi responded by pleading for the president to give her more time in the role, but Trump remained firm that her time leading the agency was over, the Daily Mail can exclusively reveal. She was unhappy and tried to change his mind, the source said. However, the president told her that she was fired and that an announcement would be made shortly. The announcement had been due to be made on Friday, but has been rushed out after rampant media speculation erupted overnight. Trump's reasoning for the sudden dismissal comes in part because the president believes Bondi tipped off Congressman Eric Swalwell, Democrat, California, about the FBI's efforts to release investigative documents related to his relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. Going further into the article, we have more. The FBI was preparing a cache of documents on Swalwell's relationship with Christine Fang, known affectionately as Fang Fang. So there you go. Well, good evening, Z Highness. Mwah! How you doing, gorgeous? Glad to have you in for our pre-Easter get-together. By the way, you guys hear those sirens in the background? Or do I need to shut the window? Just let me know in chat. Tried to leave the windows open tonight to enjoy the fresh air and hear the birds chirping, but forgot to put them down, and that's why. Anyway, going back to the article, quote, she's intervening in those matters. The White House wasn't prepared. She was intervening due to her personal friendship with Swalwell, the source added. It is unclear why Bondi would have intervened, but it's believed that Bondi and Swalwell do have a friendly relationship. Swalwell has openly criticized her since she took the AG position after failing to prosecute multiple death threats against him and his family. On Wednesday, Bondi traveled with Trump to the Supreme Court to watch proceedings for the birthright citizenship case and attended his primetime speech about the war in Iran. Okay, let's get into this. Oh, okay, you cannot hear the sirens. Well, that's a relief. I appreciate that. Let's talk about this. You know, this is a dismissal or a change, whatever term you want to use, that has been long overdue. Long overdue. This lady needed to go in the big way, okay? And Rich Barris, who is the pollster that I frequently follow for all kinds of information, had a really good point behind the dismissal of Pam Bondi. And I want to put this up and let you guys chew on this for a second. It wasn't Bindergate. It wasn't the repeated F-ups on the Epstein files following Bindergate. It wasn't that she turned the DOJ into a cash register and antitrust division into a rubber stamp for clients of fake MAGA lobbyists. It was that Bondi leaked to Eric Swalwell. That's what finally got her fired. Now, I can see Barris's point, and I don't necessarily disagree with him. I mean, really? For all the things you should have gotten rid of her for, yeah, leaking documents to Swalwell was bad. I don't agree with it. Definitely not the right thing to do. But really? This is the final straw? You mean the fact that she was making your administration look like a bunch of fools because of how she handled Epstein? Really? Really? Not the corrupt, but the alleged corruption at the DOJ? All that? Really? So like I said, I can see where Barris is coming from in this, but yeah. So she's out. And my response is good riddance. One of my favorite television shows is Yellowstone. And, it doesn't matter if you're on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, you'll see clips from the show. And there's this one clip where Kevin Costner is talking to, his character is talking to another character on the show named Rip, who's the foreman of the ranch. And Kevin Costner's character looks at Rip and says, all right, look, if you're going to hire another female for the bunkhouse, make sure she's mean and ugly. And Rip is like, okay, mean and ugly. Like, exactly. I don't need some love-struck cowboy, finding his way into some woman's bunk in the bunkhouse. He's like, I don't need that crap. Get somebody mean and ugly. And we laugh about that. But the more I think about it, when it comes to Attorney General, Trump has never really made a good selection for Attorney General yet. I mean, Jeff Sessions wouldn't necessarily have been bad, but, the whole Russiagate thing. Then he picks Bill Barr. Then he picks, Pam Bondi. Trump has never made a good selection when it comes to attorney general. He needs to quit, whatever criteria he's currently using to pick his attorney general. He needs to chuck that right out the window. He just needs somebody mean and ugly. Okay. Now, I don't necessarily mean physically mean and ugly. I mean just somebody with the kind of grit and the kind of, I don't care whether you like me or not. I don't care whatever. Just, I'm here to enforce the law. Even-handedly. Listen. If you wind up on the couch because of that comment, I will feel sorry for you, but I'm not going to sit here and say you didn't have it coming. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Right before Easter, you drop that kind of a comment? Seriously? I mean, not that there's any really good time of the year to do it, but going into a sacred holy weekend and you do that? Oh my word. Oh, for him. I gotta take a drink. No, Trump needs an attorney general who, forget about being pretty. Okay. Whatever. Just get somebody old, mean, and ornery. Okay. Which, by the way, there have been some names floated for people who could be replacing Pam Bondi. As a matter of fact, I hear at the top of the list is Saul Goldman. Inquiries are being made currently with Mr. Goldman to see if he'd be willing to go through a background check, among other things that you got to do to possibly be nominated for attorney general. But yeah, I hear that Saul Goldman could be our next AG. So, and that's definitely a change. That is definitely a change. Well, I've heard that too. I've heard that name floated. Now, in all seriousness, there are some names being floated. Mary Margaret Olohan, who writes for the Daily Wire, is hearing the following names being floated. Mike Lee, the senator from Utah, Harmeet Dillon, who's currently the head of the Antitrust Division, Attorney General Ashley Moody. Now, wait a minute. Is Ashley Moody a senator now, or is she? Hang on. Now I got to look this up. Hang on a minute. I think she's actually in the U.S. Senate. Yeah, she is a U.S. senator. Yeah, that's right. She is in the U.S. Senate. I stand corrected. Yeah, her name's been floated. Lee Zeldin's name's been floated. The current head of the EPA. Eric Schmidt, the current senator from Missouri. He's also a former attorney general. I'll throw a couple other names into that mix. What's his name? The current deputy. What's the name of the deputy FBI director? It's working under Kash Patel right now. Is it Andrew Bailey? Yeah, Andrew Bailey, the current deputy FBI director, is a former attorney general for the state of Missouri. There's a lot. I mean, Jeff Landry out of Louisiana. I think it's the current governor down there. Former attorney general. There's a lot of good, talented people out there. I don't know that I'd necessarily go with Mike. I wouldn't want to take Mike Lee out of the Senate. He's one of the best allies Trump's got. Harmeet Dillon wouldn't be that bad, but and nothing against Zeldin or Moody. I don't want another Florida attorney general. Thank you very much. But yeah, Eric Schmidt, Andrew Bailey, Jeff Landry. I can think of a bunch of people be really good at AG, but Pam Bondi is out. Now, the bad news is, as Gypsy alluded to a moment ago, and as Trump said in his Truth Social post, Todd Blanche is currently acting AG. Now, it is my hope that we do not put Todd Blanche in as the AG, First of all, Todd Blanche is a registered Democrat, number one. Number two, according to a lot of different people around Washington, D.C., in and out of D.C., supposedly Todd Blanche is the thing that's holding up most of these investigations and indictments from going forward. He won't let them move. So, I hope Trump fills the position quickly, and I do not want to see Todd Blanche become permanent Attorney General of the United States. So, anyway, so there's that news item. Oh, by the way, apparently Pam Bondi has already started clearing out her office over at the Justice Department, and she's not happy. I mean, the news of what happened to her, she is really not taking it well. As a matter of fact, somebody snapped a picture of her walking out of the Hoover building, and yeah, she's already clearing out, folks. So Pam is already cleaning house. She is wasting no time getting her stuff and getting the heck out of Dodge. So if you see moving trucks coming up outside the Hoover building in Washington, D.C., so yeah, there you go. Now, funny you bring that up, Salty. I have seen a picture recently, and I thought it was more recent than 10 years, of Todd Blanche and Caitlin Collins from CNN having, well, I don't know if Pam Bondi remembered her nail file. I have no idea. What kind of, oh, for heaven's sake. Anyway, no, I saw a picture of Todd Blanche and Caitlin Collins from CNN having lunch together somewhere. I thought it was more recent than 10 years ago. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I don't want Todd Blanche to get too comfortable in the chair. I want his stay at acting attorney general to be very short. So there you go. Anyway, so there's that piece of news. All right, let us move to a different compartment of the train and do a little bit of analysis about the address that Donald Trump gave the other night to the nation regarding the war in Iran. I will confess up front, I have not watched the whole thing. Okay. Haven't watched it all yet. The parts of it that I have seen or heard about, I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of this address was. And again, if you got ideas, hey, throw them in chat. I'd like to hear what you guys think, why Trump gave the address. The speech was about 20 minutes long, maybe just a little shorter than that. We've got some clips. And at the end of it, oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Salty. Thank you. Yeah, send those over to me. But I'm not saying this is the worst speech Donald Trump ever gave, because I don't know exactly what his purpose was in giving it. Okay. So let's start with some of these clips, and we'll analyze what we think they mean. Here is Trump, and we'll just go right into it.
The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration, and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered.
Okay, hang on a minute. we are the best positioned economy in the world. Okay, depending upon what aspect of the economy you're talking about, I could maybe see that argument. Okay, I could see what he just said being more than, political propaganda, because Trump had already put some things in effect: tax cuts, regulatory reform, etc., spending cuts. Not large ones, but okay, the wheels were in motion. He had set in motion in his second term what he had done in his first. But there is a difference. The difference being, in his first term, he did not get us into any new foreign conflicts. And we're going to talk about this next Thursday with Robin McCutcheon, economist from Marshall University. She's going to be on the live stream 6:00 the next Thursday evening. Because I want to ask her about this. I think, for my part, I think Trump had put into motion the same formula that he used in his first term. I just wonder if he hasn't short-circuited the economy by what's going on in the Middle East right now. But be that as it may, yeah, we're better positioned than anybody else to handle this. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let me play that again. Just get your guys' thoughts on this. Then drop your comments in chat.
The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that.
There's one other aspect about this that I will disagree with him on. As a matter of fact, let me look up something real fast. One moment. Let's see. Yep, that's what I thought. On January 20th, the national debt on 2018 was 22 that's 22 trillion. Google messed up the figure on this. It's 22 trillion. It's now currently 39. We've added $17 trillion of debt. That affects inflation. That affects a whole bunch of other things. So the argument that says we're better prepared, I don't know. Anyway, again, some more from Trump's statements.
We built the strongest economy in history.
I'd argue it was being built, but that's just me.
We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered.
Yeah, but like I say, I think we were positioning to position. I'm not sure we were already positioned to go forward. Anyway, here's the clip of the night that got Trump into the most trouble. And if you have not seen this, it runs about I think a minute 23. But I think you're going to understand what I'm talking about when he starts talking.
The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. And please understand, I am not trying to be deliberately negative. I am not trying to, just, be the wet blanket on everything. But if Iran's military is decimated, Iran's military is defeated, etc., and so on, according to Trump, why are we sending a third aircraft carrier into the Persian Gulf? Why are we contemplating plans of a ground invasion? If they are defeated, then what are we still doing in this fight? Okay, I'll give Trump. We're not importing much in the way of oil through the Straits of Hormuz. Yeah. But if we defeated our enemy militarily, then what are we still doing there? I'm not trying to be a wet blanket here. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just asking what I think is a perfectly logical question. Well, I'll agree with that. TBA, I will agree with that. Matter of fact, let's go back to the clip because I think he's going to get more specific here in a second.
Do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated.
Hold on a minute. I got to talk about this for a second. Y'all know that I have no great love at all for Keir Starmer, the current prime minister of Great Britain. Okay. Starmer came out the other day and said, hey, it's not our fight. We're not getting involved in this. Now, he got roundly criticized for it. Okay. And in one sense, I kind of understand the criticism. Trump's calling for help from NATO nations. You guys are getting most, if not all of your oil out of the Middle East. Hey, they're threatening your guys' way of life. Come help us resolve this thing. And Starmer's like, nope, it's not our fight. And a lot of people roundly criticized him for it. I'm going to say something might shock some of you guys. I'm not all that mad at Starmer over his response. Because in one sense, he's absolutely right. That's not NATO's fight. It's not. Trump's out there calling for NATO to help him out in this war that he and the Israelis are in with the Iranians. I'm sorry. Please show me where, a member of the NATO alliance was attacked by the Republic of Iran. They weren't. You can't invoke Article 5 or ask NATO to get in on this thing. Now, if you want to ask, the individual nations as their own nation states to do it, okay, that's one thing, and I kind of understand that. And yeah, maybe I'm splitting hairs here. But Starmer's right. It's not their fight. They find themselves in the mess they're in large part due to their unwillingness to use their own energy resources, such that they are at the mercy of a Middle Eastern country that controls their oil supply. But by the same token, countries like Great Britain, Germany, and others are in this mess because the United States decided to go along with the Israelis in this war. And again, maybe I'm splitting hairs here. I'm not, forgive me, I'm not trying to get into a lawyerly argument. I mean, I know you guys keep up with my arguments. They're fairly simplistic, but you guys get where I'm coming from in this. I'm not all that upset. I don't think Starmer's necessarily wrong. It's not Britain's fight. They're just getting the short end of the stick here because A, Britain was short-sighted in terms of how they handle their own energy policy, and B, they're on the short end of the stick because the United States has caused a conflict that has made Iran want to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and start cutting off oil all around the world. Yet you got Trump out there calling on, all these nations from the NATO alliance, hey, you guys got to come help us out here. And if you're not going to do that, hey, you need to either buy oil from us or, screw on some courage and go open up the strait yourself. Well, wait a minute. Nobody would be in this mess if you hadn't gone along with Benjamin Netanyahu. TBA says, Britain did drag us into 2 world wars and other skirmishes around the world. Fights they started, we're getting their butts whooped and begged us to help them. Okay, that's fair. That is completely fair. Okay. That's completely fair. Salty says, I don't believe Israel got Trump into Iran. I think it's quite... Oh, you think it was the other way around? Okay. Interesting. Maybe. Could be. It could very well be. Anyway, let's finish up this clip. We'll move on to one other.
The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. The United States...
That's a big assumption. Anyway, one more clip from the speech. And here's the one that really got everybody's attention. And when I say got everybody's attention, you'll understand what I'm getting at here in a second. Watch this.
Shortly, very shortly, we're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are short.
We're going to bomb them real hard for the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. Now, wow, yeah. Yeah, well, that comment might have undone everything that Trump was trying to do in the speech. TBA also says, plus, I think Trump put out the, hey, why don't y'all come to Hormuz and lend a hand to see which countries would, and then those that didn't gave him leave to leave NATO. It's funny you bring this up. Now, I'm glad you did. My buddy Smiling Jack called me up today, and he said, well, what do you think? I said, well, I'll tell you what. If ever the United States was being given a golden opportunity to finally get out of NATO, this is it. This is it. We need to do it now. Because, look, regardless of whether you agree with the stance of Keir Starmer, Macron, mayors of Germany, etc., it's quite obvious NATO is not going to do a thing, not going to lift a finger to help the United States in this. And again, should they? I'd argue no. But if ever there was a reason finally to wake up American leadership and get them to realize, you know what? We're pumping billions of dollars into NATO. And for what? What are we getting out of it? How many times have we, the United States, through NATO, have come to help our European brothers and sisters, and then they finally, and when we need help, they turn around and go, nah, no thanks. This is the golden opportunity to finally get out of NATO once and for all, which we should have done in the 90s when the Soviet Union fell. Where are we going to do it? No idea. But this is it. We really ought to. Well, that's a good point. It could be. It could just be in the United States, like, well, just let it wither on the vine. All right, we're there in name only, and we're not putting any more money into it. Could be. We'll see. But anyway, from Mario Nafal, a really good ex-post. The world listened to Trump's speech and hit the sell button. Asian markets cratered overnight. Japan down 1.4%. South Korea down 2.6%. Oil is surging back above $105 a barrel after briefly dipping on hopes of peace. Gold and silver collapsing as a safe haven trades unwind. Gas just crossed $4 a gallon for the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine. Diesel's up to $5.50. On and on it goes. The energy shock is spreading beyond fuel into aluminum, fertilizer, helium, and semiconductor supply chains. Traders are repricing inflation assumptions in real time. The speech was supposed to calm the world. Instead, it reminded everyone that the president who says the war is almost over just threatened to send Iran back to the Stone Age. Got a good point. Got a good point. You know, I found a clip today from one of my favorite movies. It's not the best movie I ever watched, but it's one of my favorites. How many of you guys have seen The Godfather Part 3? Okay, it was the weakest film of the trilogy, but there is a line that Michael Corleone says in that film. It's very early on in the movie. It's almost a throwaway line. But to me, this is the question that ought to be asked before we do anything in the way of American foreign policy. And if you're wondering what the clip is, let me set it up for you. Michael Corleone is in his office in New York City. There's a very fine party that's being thrown. He received a very high honor from the Catholic Church. And Michael Corleone is overseeing a meeting between Joey Saza and Michael's nephew, Vincent. And as everyone is talking, Michael Corleone leans up against his desks and starts to say the following. Howdy, small time. Well, that's not what he said, but you get my point. Anyway, Michael Corleone said the following, and the more I think about it, the more I come to the conclusion that this question ought to be asked every time before we go do something in the way of foreign policy. And the question is this.
What does all this have to do with me?
Let me play that again. That clip is 3 seconds long, but my God, it's the best question I ever heard. Watch.
What does all this have to do with me?
If we, the American people, through our government, or maybe better to say, if our government, on behalf of the American people, ask that question more often before they finally decide to go do something, we'd be so much better off. Yeah, and here's the other half that ought to be asked. Who's going to pay the bill? What does this have to do with me? And who's going to pay the bill? Oh, this is an excellent point. Folks, if it's been a while since you've watched The Godfather Part 3, you need to go back and watch this one. Do it after Easter weekend, okay? But I'm just saying. What does all this have to do with me? It's the greatest question. One of the greatest questions that any government should ask itself before it goes and does something in the way of foreign policy. Wow. Just amazing. Yeah, and sadly, this is the question our government currently asks. What's in it for me? What's in it for me? So, yeah, that was Trump's speech last night. And like I say, I'm not so sure that speech did what it was intended to do. We'll see. We will see. Or here's the other question that maybe governments ought to ask. How long till I just take your oil? Good point. Good point. All right, let me do a real quick commercial. We'll move on to some other stuff. Hey, if you're here tonight, doesn't matter if you're hanging out on X, on Rumble, on YouTube. First of all, number one, thank you for being here. Number two, my name is Brian Trippett, and in social media, I'm known as the Front Porch Conservative. And you have found your way to a live stream that I do sometimes through the week called the Newsroom, where we get together, we talk about the news, everybody gets a chance to give their views. And believe me, this audience is fantastic when it comes to chatter and commentary and everything else. I'd argue the smartest audience on the internet. If this is your cup of tea, hey, why don't you do yourself some favors? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Doesn't matter if it's out there on YouTube or on Rumble. We'd love to have you. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment in chat, share the link around with your friends, and also hit that bell for notifications. When we go to do a live stream, you'll be informed and you can be a part of the audience. So much thanks in advance. All right. Let us move to a different compartment of the train. And it's been a little while since this subject has been talked about, but the other day, a piece of news broke that is just absolutely shocking. Now, let me set this up for you guys. As part of the events that went on during January 6, 2021, one of the events not as widely reported as the events at the Capitol Rotunda was the fact that there were two pipe bombs found, one at Democrat National Headquarters in Washington, D.C., and the other at the Republican National Headquarters. And for the better part of 4+ years, no one could figure out who it was that planted these pipe bombs. Just before he left as deputy FBI director, Dan Bongino and a task force inside the FBI conducted an investigation, and they came to the conclusion that a young African-American man named Brian Cole Jr. was guilty of planting these pipe bombs. Now, let me back up for a second, refresh your guys' memory, some details about Brian Cole Jr., okay? Brian Cole Jr. is a very young man. He's also autistic. There is little to nothing about this young man that fits the profile of an anarchist, for lack of a better term. Someone willing to go so far as to plant a pipe bomb. Okay. According to everybody who knows him, family members, friends, etc., very gentle human being. Like I said, he's diagnosed with autism. Okay. Yet this 20-something-year-old African-American young man was nefarious enough, clever enough to plant these pipe bombs. And there is all kinds of evidence that's coming forward in terms of his lawyers digging up evidence and people outside of the legal proceedings who are just analyzing the data going, there ain't no way this kid did this, right? Now, there's one other person whose name has been associated with these pipe bombs, and is a young lady, formerly a Capitol police officer. Her name is Kirchhoff, Kerkhoff. Okay. Kirchhoff. And the reason that she was associated with it is because, based on a lot of circumstantial evidence, she seemed to fit the profile of the person who did this. Now, I'm setting this up, and I'm going to show you guys a post on X from Viva Free And this one's kind of shocking. I'm going to enlarge this a little bit to make it easier for you guys to read. There we go. From Viva Fry, I don't often use the word bombshell, but this right here is a bombshell, and I don't think people yet appreciate the significance. The government produced discovery to Brian Cole's defense attorneys. Brian Cole Jr. is the accused planter of the January 6 pipe bombs, whom many people believe to be a total patsy. I am one of those people who believe him to be a total patsy. Now, here's the bombshell. The government just provided discovery to Cole's defense team, which alleges that on November 6, 2025, Kirchhoff was subjected to a polygraph test and failed. Let me read that again. The government just provided discovery to Kirchhoff's defense team, which alleges that on November 6, 2025, Ms. Kirchhoff, the other suspect in the January 6 pipe bomb incident, was subjected to a polygraph and failed. She was allegedly asked two questions. One, did you place those pipe bombs? And the second question, did you place those pipe bombs that evening? She allegedly failed that polygraph, according to this filing from the defense. The date of the polygraph test is critical because the polygraph apparently occurred 2 days before Steve Baker's expose was published. Now, let me back up and kind of give some context to that. Steve Baker writes for theblaze.com, or he did anyway, and he wrote a piece in which he used a whole bunch of metrics, and through those metrics came to the conclusion that Susie Kirchhoff, I believe Susie's her first name, Susie Kirchhoff fits the general description of the person who should be the suspect that planted these pipe bombs. Okay. Now that expose came out, and Steve Baker got so much pressure, the Blaze took it down. The piece that he had written, they pulled it off their website. And the pressure came not from Kirchhoff, but from the Justice Department, or more particularly the FBI. Anyway, back to Viva Fry's ex post. I emphasize the word published because the article was almost certainly known, circulated internally, presumably because it was circulated for review and comment, legal, etc., operating on the basis that the facts alleged in this motion are accurate. And I would imagine the defense attorneys are not going to lie about Kirchhoff having failed a polygraph. It is stunning that the government would have willingly and knowingly communicated this prima facie exculpatory evidence to the defense unless they had a good reason. Some of you are going to say Brady obligations, etc., to which I would respond that this would not be the first time the government has lost, accidentally deleted, or outright concealed or destroyed what would have otherwise be exculpatory Brady disclosures. Heck, they did to many of the January 6ers in the first place, and many of the agents who violated the defense rights of countless J-6ers still have jobs. One of two alternatives is likely true. The government did not know that they had that information when they turned over presumably hundreds of thousands of pages of discovery and terabytes of information to the defense. They didn't know. They sent it off. They just stepped into it, and it's going to come back and destroy their case. Or the government did know what they were communicating to the defense, that they would have destroyed it, and they did it anyway. Call it an act of sabotage from corrupt agents within the DOJ that has not yet purged of deep state actors. To the extent that it destroys the case against Brian Cole Jr., who does it humiliate the most? Who does it benefit the most? And if you're wondering what this affidavit looks like, let me pop this up on screen. I know it's a little bit hard to read, but I will read this. In the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, United States versus Brian Cole Jr., Shawnee Kirchhoff was named as a person of interest in the January 6, 2021 pipe bomb investigation. This is from the affidavit. Ms. Kirchhoff was a U.S. Capitol police officer on January 6, 2021, and was present at the Capitol on that date. Ms. Kirchhoff now works for the Central Intelligence Agency. Oh, how convenient. According to discovery produced by the government in this case, the FBI began investigating, questioning, and covertly surveilling Ms. Kirchhoff during the time it began investigating Mr. Cole. On November 6, 2025, Ms. Kirchhoff was interviewed by the FBI and took a polygraph examination. She was asked 2 questions. Number 1, did you place the pipe bombs? Number 2, did you place the pipe bombs that evening? Ms. Kirchhoff failed the polygraph. The FBI polygraph examiner noted Kirchhoff's, quote, very controlled reaction to the news of her failing the polygraph and the seemingly rehearsed responses to examiner's questions. Folks, if this does not exonerate Brian Cole Jr. and make this case go away, I don't know what does. Don't know what does. Now, is the polygraph not admissible, or the affidavit that we're reading from here? Which one's not admissible? We would say young, or would we say lady? She is a devil. Oh, I don't disagree with that. Oh, the polygraph's not admissible. Well, okay, the polygraph may not be admissible, but this should be. And this right here, this ought to end it. Like I said, there's enough circumstantial evidence that Brian Cole Jr. should not be prosecuted for this. Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree at all. So, yeah. Matter of fact, I'm going to drop this this link to this X post. I'm going to drop this on Rumble, and I'm going to drop this on YouTube, because you guys may want to take a look at this if you haven't. Unbelievable. Unbelievable indeed. So, yeah. Yeah, just keep your eyes on that one, folks, because I don't think – I'm not saying Brian Cole's completely out of the woods yet, but wow. Wow. All right, a couple or 3 other items. WWG1 sent me something today, and I mean, I think most of us would concede that we are currently living in the age of 1984, for better or worse. And I would argue it's worse. But man, there's some things that are so over the top. Even I mean, I can believe it, but I can't believe it either. From the American Thinker, AI tracking technology coming soon to a vehicle you own. Article by a gentleman named Eric Uter. We have the following. According to reports such as this one in Blaze Media, the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act requires that, quote, car manufacturers will need to comply with new AI tracking technology requirements by the end of the year. The add-on, and this article, by the way, is dated today, April 2nd, 2026. The add-ons required by the act will place cameras pointed directly at the driver's face to monitor eye movements, among other bodily functions. The bill is ostensibly intended to, quote, ensure the prevention of alcohol-impaired driving fatalities via advanced prevention technology that, quote, must be standard equipment in all of our new passenger motor vehicles. Among other bodily functions, according to the Blaze, this advanced prevention technology will be required to passively monitor the performance of a driver in order to accurately identify whether that driver may be impaired. If said technology for any reason believes the driver to be impaired, it could limit the vehicle's performance or even disable the vehicle outright. Welcome to 1984 writ large, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this is what we could be looking forward to, folks. You and me both. Absolutely tragic. Absolutely. Yeah, this is where we are. We're about to have technology put into our cars, which, I mean, it's already there in one form or another. That's basically going to monitor everything we do. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Will AI stop at a gas station for you when you got to poop? Now, I don't know about that. That's a good question. That's a real good question, actually. What will AI do in that regard? I don't know. Don't know. All right, let's do some fun stuff. Kind of wrap it up here. Look, it's the Easter weekend. We're all trying to find something to do. Okay. Maybe you want to watch some television. Well, Japan, the folks overseas have come out with a new game show that is sweeping television and the internet. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet or not, but this is something. And I saw a little clip of it today. So you might be interested in watching this if you can find it either on television or on the internet. This is a new game show that's really sweeping Asia, and now it's making its way to the United States. I don't know, guys. I really wish they had subtitles for this thing.
Yeah. Takashi Akiro, Sanwa Omasho.
Something familiar about this game show. I mean, I don't know exactly the origins of how this got started, but you know, this looks, I mean, I'll drop this in chat for you guys. Maybe you guys want to watch this, maybe not. But yeah, apparently this new game show is sweeping the nation and all of Europe. So there you go. There you go, folks. All right. Two more things, and then we're going to go ahead and head out of here. Gypsy sent me this, and this is really sweet. There are going to be a lot of traditions that are engaged in this weekend. There's going to be dinners. There's going to be, attending, church services. There's going to be, Easter egg hunts, etc. And one of the traditions that goes along with this weekend, oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Okay. All right. I'll play it. All right. Hang on. I think I know exactly where to find that. Give me a second here. Okay. I think I found it. All right. WWG1 wanted me to play one particular part of this game show that, again, is sweeping Asia and all of America. And they get pretty serious about the competition. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check this out. Again, I wish they had subtitles, but it is what it is. Got that part of it right. I wouldn't want to lose it. These people are not messing around, man. They are definitely not messing around. Oh my goodness, just gracious. Yeah. Anyway, I dropped the link in both Rumble and YouTube. So oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. I think I know the exact one you're talking about. One moment, please. I have not had, I'll be honest with you, I have not had a chance to watch it yet, but I will watch it. Hang on a minute. One moment, please.
Hello, and welcome to Runkle.
Runkle. Oh, okay. I'll be checking this. I promise, Lana, I'll be checking this out. But yeah, I've got it, and I just need to look at it. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying a minute ago, there are a lot of traditions going to be engaged in over the weekend. Okay, one of them is decorating Easter eggs. And Gypsy sent me this. And this is probably one of the coolest things I think I've ever watched. This clip runs about 1 minute. There's a group of nuns who every year engage in a tradition of preparing Easter eggs. And when you see what it is that they do, this will really kind of blow your mind. And I hope you guys appreciate this. So enjoy that. I don't care who you are. That's cool. I mean, that is what you call really getting serious about the preparation. The preparation of Easter eggs. That is something else. really, really amazing. All right. One last thing, and I'll let you guys go. And it just seems kind of appropriate. Now, on the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they and certain other women with them came to the tomb bringing the spices which they had prepared. But they found the stone rolled away from the tomb. Then they went in and did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. And it happened, as they were greatly perplexed by this, that behold, two men stood by, both wearing shining garments. Then, as they were afraid and bowed their faces to the earth, they said to them, why do you seek the living among the dead? He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he spoke to you when he was still in Galilee, saying, the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and on the third day rise again. And they remembered his words, and they were returned from the tomb and told all these things to the 11 and to the rest. And it was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and the other women with them, who told these things to the apostles. So, there you go. Anyway, I want to thank you guys. Well, good evening, Kawan. Glad to have you here with us. Want to thank you all for being here for this pre-Easter weekend. I hope you take the opportunity to reflect on the meaning, much like at Christmas, the meaning for this holiday. And may it cause you to either find faith or have your faith renewed. And with that, we're going to be back next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. And we're going to do 2 live streams next week, one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. Thursday is going to be Robin McCutcheon. That's going to be at 6 o'clock in the evening on Thursday of next week, April the 9th. But the next live stream will be this coming Tuesday at 7 p.m. Anyway, I love you guys very much. Thank you guys so much for being here. For everybody, and from me and my family to all you and your family, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Easter weekend. Love you guys very much. Thank you for being here, and we'll catch up with you next time, which is next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Happy Easter, and have a good night.